The mind is its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell a hell of heaven. Marcus Aurelius wrote this nearly 2,000 years ago not as a poet, but as a man who woke up every morning to face the weight of an empire. He was the most powerful man in the known world, Emperor of Rome, ruler of 40 million souls, commander of legions, and yet his writings reveal something extraordinary. He was anxious, he was tired, he doubted himself. He struggled with the same morning dread that you might feel right now, staring at your phone, dreading the day ahead, wondering if you have the strength for what awaits. What separated Marcus from the millions who have held power before and since was not the absence of struggle. It was the presence of practice. A specific, deliberate 6-minute morning routine that he developed over decades and documented in his private journals. These journals, never meant for publication, became meditations, one of the most influential books in human history. And within its pages, scattered between notes on military campaigns and philosophical reflections, lies a blueprint. A morning practice so precise, so effective, that modern psychology has spent the last 50 years catching up to what this Roman emperor discovered through disciplined self-experimentation. This is not about waking up at 4 in the morning. This is not about cold plunges or elaborate rituals that require an hour and expensive equipment. This is about 6 minutes. 6 specific minutes that align your mind, prime your emotional state, and create what psychologists now call an internal locus of control before the world has any chance to impose its chaos upon you. The research is clear. Your first 30 minutes after waking determine your cortisol levels for the entire day. They determine your capacity for focused attention, your emotional resilience to setbacks, and even your creative problem-solving ability. Marcus Aurelius did not know about cortisol, but he knew about chaos, and he built a routine specifically to meet it. The first minute is what the Stoics called the Morning Assent. Before you open your eyes fully, before you reach for your phone, before the external world floods in, you take 60 seconds to remind yourself of something fundamental. Today, I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are this way because they do not know good from evil. But I who know the good am damaged if I allow myself to be provoked by them. I cannot be harmed by anyone who does not force me to do wrong. This is not pessimism. This is preparation. Marcus is not being negative. He is being strategic. He is acknowledging reality before reality has a chance to surprise him. Modern psychology calls this effective forecasting. We are terrible at predicting how we will feel in future situations, and we are even worse at remembering how we felt in similar past situations. We wake up optimistic, imagining a smooth day, and then when the first obstacle appears, we are emotionally derailed because our expectations were violated. Marcus Aurelius, with his Morning Assent, inverts this. He begins with realistic expectations. He expects difficulty, he expects friction, and in doing so, he creates emotional stability. When the difficult person appears, they are not a surprise, they are a confirmation, and confirmation does not trigger the stress response. Surprise does. This first minute is your emotional immune system being activated before you encounter the virus. The second minute is gratitude interrogation. Not the shallow gratitude of listing nice things, the rigorous gratitude of asking specific questions. What am I taking for granted that I would desperately miss if it were gone? What did I yesterday that I am now free from? What is available to me today that was not available to my ancestors, to most people alive right now, to me just a few years ago? Marcus Aurelius, despite his wealth and power, practiced this constantly. He reminded himself that he could lose everything in an instant, that his health was temporary, that his position was precarious, that his loved ones were mortal. This was not morbid, this was clarifying. Neuroscience now confirms what Marcus intuited. The practice of negative visualization, of imagining loss before it occurs, does not create anxiety as we might expect. It actually reduces baseline anxiety and increases felt gratitude. When you imagine losing your home, your current home feels more precious. When you imagine losing your health, your current body feels more capable. When you imagine losing your loved ones, your current relationships feel more urgent. This is the hedonic reset. Our brains adapt quickly to positive circumstances and begin to treat them as baseline. Gratitude interrogation interrupts this adaptation. It restores the vividness of experience. It makes the ordinary feel extraordinary again. This second minute is your appreciation being sharpened. The third minute is intention declaration. Not goals, not to-do lists. Intention, the difference is subtle and profound. A goal is an outcome you want to achieve. An intention is a way of being you want to embody. Marcus Aurelius did not write, "Today I will conquer the Germanic tribes." He wrote, "Today I will practice patience, courage, justice, and self-control." The tribes were external. The practice was internal. The tribes were uncertain. The practice was guaranteed. This is the Stoic distinction between what is in our power and what is not, applied to the architecture of a single day. Modern goal-setting research supports this approach. When we focus on outcome goals, we experience what psychologists call the progress principle in reverse. We feel motivated only when we achieve the goal, which might be weeks or months away. We feel demotivated every day that we do not achieve it. When we focus on process intentions, we can win every hour. Did I practice patience in that difficult conversation? That is a win. Did I act with courage when I wanted to retreat? That is a win. Did I choose justice over convenience? That is a win. The wins are available constantly. The momentum builds continuously. This third minute is your compass being set before you enter the fog. The fourth minute is body alignment. Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic, but he was also Roman. He understood that the mind and body are not separate entities, they are continuous systems. The way you hold your body affects the way you hold your thoughts. The way you breathe affects the way you judge. The morning routine included specific physical practices: cold water on the face to activate the dive reflex and reduce inflammation, deep breathing to regulate the autonomic nervous system, simple movements to increase blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. These were not elaborate exercises, they were precise interventions. Modern psychophysiology has mapped these connections in detail. The vagus nerve, which runs from your brainstem through your heart and gut, is the physical infrastructure of emotional regulation. Cold exposure activates it, deep breathing stimulates it. Movement increases vagal tone, which is literally the physical capacity for calm under pressure. When Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind must command the body, he was describing a two-way street. The body, properly aligned, supports the mind. The mind, properly focused, directs the body. This fourth minute is your physiology being optimized for the mental demands ahead. The fifth minute is Premeditatio Malorum. The premeditation of evils. This sounds terrible. It sounds like the opposite of a morning routine. Why would you spend a minute imagining everything that could go wrong? Because the Stoics understood something that cognitive behavioral therapy would rediscover 2 millennia later. Anxiety is not caused by negative thoughts. Anxiety is caused by unexamined negative thoughts. When you deliberately imagine the worst case, you do 2 things. You reduce its emotional charge through habituation, and you prepare contingency plans that increase your actual competence. Marcus Aurelius would imagine specific scenarios: the Senate rejecting his proposal, a trusted advisor betraying him, his health failing suddenly, his son making catastrophic decisions. He would walk through these mentally, not to dwell on them but to prepare for them. And in preparing, he paradoxically reduced their power over him. Modern exposure therapy works on the same principle. You face the feared scenario in imagination until the amygdala learns that it is survivable. The fifth minute is your fears being defanged through confrontation. The sixth minute is cosmic perspective. Marcus Aurelius would conclude his morning practice by zooming out, way out. He would imagine himself from above, looking down on his palace, his city, his empire, the Mediterranean, the Earth, the solar system, the galaxy. He would remind himself of his smallness, of the brevity of his life, of the vastness of time before and after him. This was not to induce despair. It was to induce proportion. The problems that felt enormous from ground level felt manageable from cosmic height. The insults that stung, the setbacks that crushed, the ambitions that obsessed, all shrank to their proper size. Modern research on what psychologists call the overview effect confirms this experience. Astronauts who see Earth from space report permanent shifts in perspective. Their personal concerns diminish, their sense of connection expands. Marcus Aurelius achieved this without leaving his bedroom. Through imagination, through disciplined perspective-taking, he accessed the same psychological benefit. This 6th minute is your problems being resized to their true dimensions. Together, these 6 minutes create what modern science calls a proactive coping strategy. Most people wake up reactive. They check their phone and immediately enter response mode. Emails demand answers. News demands attention. Notifications demand engagement. Their morning belongs to everyone else. Their stress begins immediately. Their cortisol spikes before they have even stood up. Marcus Aurelius refused this. His 6 minutes were a fortress, a protected space where he established his priorities, his emotional state, his physical readiness, and his perspective before the world could touch him. The research on morning routines is extensive and consistent. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who engage in structured morning practices report higher levels of self-efficacy throughout the day. They are more persistent in the face of obstacles. They experience less emotional exhaustion. Another study from the University of Nottingham found that morning intention setting specifically increases what researchers call implementation intention, the likelihood of actually doing what you plan to do. You are not just more likely to feel good, you are more likely to follow through. But the Stoic morning routine is not just about productivity, it is not a life hack, it is a philosophical practice. Each minute corresponds to a Stoic discipline. The discipline of desire, learning to want what we have. The discipline of action, learning to act with virtue regardless of outcome. The discipline of assent, learning to judge impressions correctly. Marcus Aurelius was not trying to have a good day. He was trying to have a good life one day at a time. The morning routine was his daily renewal of this commitment. The beauty of this practice is its accessibility. You do not need to be an emperor, you do not need a palace, you do not need wealth or health or even much time. You need 6 minutes. 6 minutes of deliberate attention, 6 minutes of philosophical practice. 6 minutes that separate the reactive life from the chosen life. The suffering life from the examined life, the drifting life from the directed life. This is what Marcus Aurelius offers us, not as a historical curiosity, but as a living tool. I want you to try this tomorrow, not as an experiment, as a commitment. Set your alarm 6 minutes earlier or reclaim 6 minutes from your current morning scrolling. Do not modify the practice. Do not skip steps because they feel uncomfortable. The discomfort is the point. The 5th minute imagining loss will feel wrong, do it anyway. The 6th minute imagining your smallness will feel strange, do it anyway. These feelings are the resistance of an untrained mind. They are the exact obstacle the practice is designed to overcome. After 1 week, assess, not whether you feel happier, whether you feel more centered, whether setbacks derail you less, whether you respond more and react less, whether your day feels more like yours and less like something happening to you. These are the metrics of Stoic practice, not pleasure, not ease. Ownership, agency, the sense that you are steering, not being swept. This is what Marcus Aurelius woke up to create every morning. This is what you can create starting tomorrow. The Stoics believed that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The morning routine is the antidote to this suffering. By imagining difficulties deliberately, we reduce their power to surprise us. By imagining loss, we increase our appreciation for what remains. By imagining our smallness, we reduce the weight of our concerns. By declaring our intentions, we increase our likelihood of embodying them. By aligning our bodies, we support our minds. By accepting the morning assent, we prepare for reality rather than denying it. Each minute is a specific medicine for a specific form of unnecessary suffering. Marcus Aurelius did not write his meditations to be published. He wrote them to survive, to maintain his philosophy under the pressure of absolute power, constant war, plague, betrayal, and personal loss. His morning routine was not a luxury, it was survival equipment, and it worked. History records him as one of the few good emperors, the last of the 5 good emperors, a man who held absolute power for 19 years and died with his integrity intact, who faced every temptation and pressure that destroys lesser men and remained committed to virtue. This was not accident, this was practice. You are not facing the pressures of empire, perhaps, but you are facing your own version of chaos, your own demands, expectations, uncertainties, and fears, your own version of the meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. The morning routine does not change these external facts. It changes your internal readiness to meet them. It changes your capacity to meet difficulty with dignity, complexity with clarity, and chaos with centeredness. This is the Stoic offer. Not a changed world, a changed you, a you that is prepared, a you that is practiced, a you that is ready. The 6 minutes are a beginning. They are the foundation upon which the rest of the day is built, but they are also a microcosm, a complete philosophical practice compressed into a manageable form. If you can practice Stoicism for 6 minutes, you can practice it for 60. If you can practice it in the morning, you can practice it in the afternoon. If you can practice it on good days, you can practice it on bad days. The morning routine is the gateway, the entry point, the first step on a path that leads, if followed with consistency and sincerity, to the only victory that truly matters, the victory over yourself, the alignment of your actions with your values, the peace that comes from knowing, regardless of external outcome, that you showed up as your best self. This is what Marcus Aurelius woke up to pursue every morning. Not glory, not pleasure, not even happiness as we commonly understand it, the peace of a mind that has done its work, the confidence of a will that has been exercised, the clarity of a perspective that has been properly aligned. These are available to you, not in some distant future after years of study, tomorrow morning in 6 minutes. The practice is waiting. The only question is whether you will meet it. If this resonated, subscribe. This channel exists to bridge ancient wisdom with modern practice, to build unshakable minds for an unstable world, to help you rise as a Stoic. Next week, we explore the Stoic Evening Review, the practice that ends each day with clarity and begins tomorrow with purpose. Rise as a Stoic.